Welcome to the instructional video on how to use the e-exam e-learning online website of Riyadh Colleges of Dentistry and Pharmacy. Your first step must be to provide the following information to the IT department as a course director: your full name, your email address, your course name completely, your course code, and the number of students you have enrolled in this course. The IT department will then correspond with the registration department and acquire a list of the students registered for your course, their emails and ID numbers, and register you and them on the course. Once this has been done, the IT department will send you the following link that you can see up here, www.onlineexam, and so on and so forth. This will be provided to you by email. Once you have received this email, you can copy-paste this address into your browser of any desktop, laptop, or iPad here on the college network. So you must be connected to the college network to access this page. Once you have copy-pasted this into your browser of any computer that is on the college network, you will come to this page, the login page. The IT department has already registered you and your course and will provide you with a username and password. They've provided me with one as an example, so I've entered my username, Maliha, and I will enter my password, 1maliha/. Now when you go to log in for the first time, they will provide you with a username and password, but once you log in, you will be prompted to change your password. Please go ahead and do so to something memorable to you that you will remember in the future. Once you have logged in, you will come to this page. Please verify that all your course information is entered correctly, like the name, the code of your course, and that your name has been registered as the teacher of this course. Now, some course directors have more than one course, so be sure that all your courses are listed correctly. Now that I have been registered and I've verified that I'm registered correctly, I'm ready to proceed to the task at hand. Today I will be showing you how to add questions to your question bank, which is the task of this video. Now, I want to add to the question bank of English 140, which is my course. So I will click on my course. The first page that comes up is this page. It's basically a syllabus page. Now, by default, the administration has provided only 2 topics for my syllabus. I can go ahead later and add more topics, title my topics, and add information of my topics to add to my syllabus. This will be provided for you in another instructional video. Today, the task is to create our question bank. So if you look to the left under Settings, if you go down, there is a link for Question Bank. We will click on Question Bank. Now I've come to the page that allows me to add to my question bank. But the first step is I must create 3 categories. By default, there will be no categories listed for English 140 or for your course. You must go and individually enter and make the categories. If you look on the left, under the question bank, there is a link for categories. Now I've come to the Edit Categories page. When I've reached the Edit Categories page, I'm ready to create my 3 categories. At the college, we have 3 kinds of questions: either simple, moderate or average, or difficult complex questions. Now, let us create these 3 categories. When I enter a category, this mandatory unit is called name. Name is actually the name of the category. For example, simple. Now if I'd like, I can provide some category information. It's not necessary, but for example, these are below average difficulty questions. And I will add this category. Now I've created the category of simple questions. I'll go ahead and create the other 2 categories, which are moderate, and I'd like to mention that they're average in difficulty, and the last category, which could be complex, for example, and the category information would be above average or challenging style questions. Now I've added the 3 categories. Now that these 3 categories are ready, I am now ready to add to my question bank. I'll go again to the left where it says questions and checked that my 3 categories that I've entered are now registered in my question bank. As you can see, there's simple, moderate, and complex. Now I'm ready to add questions to my question bank. But before I can create a new question, I must select the category I would like to add it to. For example, simple. Today I will create a simple question for you. Now that I am in the simple category, I can create a new question. Now I will be prompted to choose a question type to add to this category. In the college, our questions are multiple choice. So I will select multiple choice and next. Now I will come to a page called Adding a Multiple Choice Question. Now the first step is to check and verify that I'm in the correct category. If I'm not, I can go ahead and change it, but I am in simple where I would like to add my question. Now you'll see an option to enter a question name. In the question name, I can enter any simple question I would like. For example, what is the capital of Saudi Arabia? A simple question. When I've entered my question here, I must copy and Control V, paste the question in the question text box so it's ready to be provided to the student. Now some of us would like to add images, pictures, or diagrams with our questions on our exams. If I would like to add an image here, for example of a desert, I can go to this button, Insert Edit Image, select Find or Upload an Image, and I can choose a file. Now, I would like to, from my picture library, choose a desert to go with this question, and I can upload this file. And here is the picture that I would like to add to my question of the desert. Once it's ready, I can select Insert. OK. And now my picture has been inserted with my question. You won't be able to see it here probably, but when we are finished with the question, I will show you in the preview how this image has been added to my question. Now the next step after my question is complete is default mark. Now by default, for example, in the second assessment we have 40 multiple choice questions. It comes to 20 marks. So each question will be worth 0.5 or half a mark. So I have to give a mark, assign a mark to my question. Once this is completed, the next and very important step is whether to shuffle the choices, the options A, B, C, and D for answers of my questions or not. Now usually by default your answers will be shuffled and it will be selected already. However, if you have a all of the above or none of the above question and you choose not to shuffle your answers, I can deselect this option and not shuffle my choices. I won't be entering an all of the above question, so I will choose my options to be shuffled. Now you'll be prompted to enter your options, your answers. Choose choice 1, choice 2, choice 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to go ahead and enter some possible answers. For example, the correct answer, which is Riyadh. Now when I enter the correct answer, I must go to the grade and give it a grade of 100% because this is the correct answer to the question. The other choices that I enter, for example, Jeddah, I will leave the grade none. For Dammam, I will leave the grade as none. And for Medina, I will leave the grade as none. I can go ahead and enter as many options as I'd like. I'd only like to have A, B, C, and D, so I'll stop there. Now, the last and most important step, setting for multiple tries. There's a part that says penalties for each incorrect try, and by default it's 33.3%. However, here in the college we have no negative marking and no penalty for incorrect options. So, I must go ahead and change this to 0. There is no penalty for an incorrect answer. Now that I'm finished and my question is ready, I will save the changes to this question. Now my question has been created in the question bank. What is the capital of Saudi Arabia? If I'd like to preview the question, I can go over here to this magnifying glass, which is the preview, and it will provide me a preview of my question. And as promised, here is the image that I had added to my question. Here's my question. What is the capital of Saudi Arabia? Here's the image I had uploaded with my question, or diagram, or video, whatever you would like to provide to the students, and select one option, Riyadh, for example. And now, I have successfully created one question in my question bank. I can go ahead and proceed and add to my question bank, which is what we would like you to do. Please add a collection of simple, moderate, and complex questions. Please be sure to choose the category before you enter your questions in your question bank. Once your question bank is complete, you will then be ready to create your second assessment, final, or later on your first assessment exams. We will be providing you with an instructional video of how to access your question bank and create your question paper after this video. I hope this was helpful to you, and best of luck. If you have any questions, please refer to the IT department for further support.